Hello dear soulmates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Yeti Buttons. In this tutorial you'll be learning how to sew the funnel corset. So here I've gone ahead to transfer the pattern to fabric. The choice of fabric I used was mesh or tulle. So I folded the mesh into 4 layers. So after folding it into 4, I went ahead to fold it again like that. So by the time you want to place the pattern on it, the center front should be placed on the part that is on fold. Then you place others beside it, like you can cut others anywhere you want. Then after that, I've gone ahead to add interfacing to the fabric. The fabric I used was Doll Face Bridal Satin. This is just for tutorial purpose. I won't advise you to use it for your clients. So after doing that, I went ahead to cut the pattern on the fabric, which means I've added the interfacing before cutting. This is to have stability. So I've cut both the lining and the fabric. So you also need strips of fabrics like this, about 1.5 inches wide, which is going to serve as the bone channel for the corsets. So this is the bone I'll be working with. This is a Regilene bone, which is also known as the sewable bone. The width of the Regilene bone is 10 mm or 1 cm. To turn the bone channel, you're going to place your Shambhala cord on the right side of the doll face satin like that and stitch it down like so. Next, you want to flip it downwards. Then you place the fabric right side facing right side. Then you stitch it like that. And while you're stitching it, make sure that it's a little bit wide. Then you keep stitching downwards. And make sure that the width is enough for your bone to pass through. So I'm trying to turn it here. And the width of the bone we're going to pass into this is the 10 mm Regilene bone. So you want to pass it like that. It's very simple and straightforward, and this helps your Regilene bone to be flat, like the bone channel will be very flat on your corset. So I've gone ahead to sew others bone channel, and there I'm passing the bone inside the already sewn bone channels. Up next, I'll be showing you how to sew the inner buste. So for the inner buste is, you can see that I did not add any reinforcement, nothing to it, just a stay. But I would advise, if you're making it for yourself or for your clients, please, you can do bust caging on it. You can add at least wording to it just to give it more structure around the bust area. So when you're joining the buste, it's advisable for you to start sewing from the hem upwards, not the other way around. Like you sew the side to the center from the hem upwards. And I've gone ahead to sew the lining as well. So here's the lining, and I just thought of reducing the down parts like so, which is optional, but because I don't want it to be too wide by the side, so what I did is that I reduced the width that I have at the side. Just make sure you have at least 2 inches left by the side, or 3 inches, so that you don't have it too wide, so that it won't be too bulky. So I repeated the same thing on the lining. So I trimmed off the excess that I don't want, making sure that I have at least like 3 inches left on the side seam, like on the side of the front, so that I can have it like so. So I'll go ahead now and sew the neckline. I'm done sewing the neckline, then I went ahead to notch with scissors. This is to allow the neckline to relax. You won't be struggling with the neckline. Then you go ahead and top stitch at this stage, so that when you iron it, it's going to relax properly for you. So after top stitching, I went ahead now to sew the hem of the underbust, around the underbust area of the inner buste, like so. It's just as simple as that. Just make sure that you're sewing directly on the same allowance you added. So here I'll be doing the first fittings on the miniature, and you can see it's very fine. So here I'm showing you that you can still go ahead and restyle the hem like that of a corset. See, so anyhow you want it, it will just come out fine. So the next thing we're going to do now is to stitch down the tulle. Remember I said the tulle is four layers for each part. This is 4 layers. So I've gone ahead to use my machine to secure the seam like this so that you won't end up struggling with it. So you're going to repeat the same process for everything. So for you to join it, you're going to join the wrong side to wrong side, which implies that your seam is going to be on the right side. So this is me showing you that you're going to sew it like that. Then you take the side front and the center front and you join it like so. Alright, so here I'm done sewing it together. Then next, what we're going to do now is to add your bone channel. But before adding the bone channel, we will go ahead and top stitch. And while top stitching, make sure you top stitch to the opposite direction, like like that. So I'm repeating the same process on this other side like so. So I expect you to do the same thing for the back. So this is what you should have. Then the excess too you have there, you want to trim it very close, and while doing this you have to be very careful. So after doing that, you go ahead and place your bone channel directly on it. Remember, we are doing this on the right side of the two. So you go ahead and sew this side like that, then you move to the other side and stitch it down like so. So you can create as many bone channels as you want. Just chalk it and measure to make sure that it is even on the part on the fabric. So this is what I decided to do. You can do the bone channel any design you want. So this is the fittings on the miniature. This is how far we've gone, which is not bad. Now you want to go ahead and sew down the armhole. Then after sewing it, you notch so that it can relax properly. You will have to leave an opening underneath like this so that you can use it to turn the fabric to the right side. But if you're working with bust caging, please just pipe the hem. So this is what it looks like after pressing and ironing. So that part is the side seam where you should be joining to the two, and it's just as simple as that. So here I'm sewing the regilene bone to the top of the corset, and the width of the bone I'm working with is 0.25 inch or 8 mm regilene bone. And you see the seam allowance I left up there should be 0.5, which is the seam allowance you added to your corset while transferring the pattern to fabric. Then trim off the seam allowance, so you should be left with the actual measurement. And if you want, you can also decide to add bone to the armhole area just for more structure, but that is optional. So here's what the back looks like. So now we're going to add the lacing bar to it. So for the lacing bar, the width should be 4 inches. Then you divide into two. That should be 2 2. Then you fold the edges like that. That is what you should do. Then you take your regilene bone, the 10 mm regilene bone, and you sew it down, making sure you don't cross the crease line or the center line. This is just to add more stability and to make the modesty, the lacing bar, to have more structure. So you're going to place the two, which is the edge. Remember, we did not add any seam allowance to the center back, the main center back. This is because we're not sewing anything. So you wrap it like that and you stitch the edge. So you can have maybe 2 stitches or 3 stitches just to create space for the highlight. But here I'll be stitching once. Remember, I'm working with miniature and I don't have much space on the lacing bar. I'm just showing you that you need more structure on your lacing bar. So this is where you'll be adding your eyelet to. Next, I'll be showing you how to fix the inner bustier to the overbust corset. So you can decide to finish the overbust corset and use your needle and thread to fix the inner bustier to the overbust corset. But here I want to sew it down. So you want to leave space of 0.5 inch above the inner bustier. Remember, we still have the seam allowance on our overbust corset, but we've sewn down the armhole of the inner bustier, so you should ensure that you have 0.5 inch above the armhole of the inner bustier. So here's what you should have. Can you see? So I'll take it to the sewing machine and sew the side. So just sew it all the way down to the hem. Then if you see any thread hanging around at this point, you want to trim it off, take it out like that. So here's what the right side, the wrong side should look like. Remember, you sew it to the right side. So on the right side, you go ahead and notch the waist area so that the corset can be balanced on your body. Then you're going to top stitch towards the back, that's towards the back of the corset, and you trim off any excess that you have on the tool, like you take it out carefully. So go ahead and place your bone channel on it and sew it like that. If you're working with a client or yourself, I would advise that you pass a plastic bone inside the Regilene bone for more structure. Remember, I said this is just for a miniature, so you should pass your plastic bone inside. So what I've done here is to sew the hem, and I will show you the process here as well. Alright, so what we're going to do is to cut a piece of fabric of about 1.5 inches wide. The right side should be facing the wrong side of the fabric. Then you stitch it down like so. Please take note of where I'm sewing. I'm not sewing the top part of the bone. I'm sewing the down part of the bone like so. Can you see? That's why we have a space in between like this, which is fine. So you want to go ahead and trim off the excess you have. Then you wrap the fabric. I'm still trimming off. Then you want to wrap the fabric like this. Take note: 1, can you see? Then 2. This is the second step, and that's just it. Make sure it's firm. Then you sew it down. So as you are sewing it, you want to be checking and rearranging till you get to the side. Up next, you'll go ahead and pipe the armhole, both armhole. So I'm done piping this side, so I'm going to repeat the same process on this other side. So cut a straight fabric of about 1.5 inches wide, straight, not on bias. Then you're going to fold it like this. From the wrong side of the tool, you place the right side of the fabric on it. Then you wrap it like this and sew it down. On maybe 0.25 is just fine. So when you're done, when you get to the edge, you want to wrap it up like so. But most times when you're done sewing it, you will find that some bones, they are stubborn. They will be very long and they will be restricting you from piping. All you need to do is just take your scissors and trim them down. But please don't trim them too low. Just trim them out a little bit like this. And your sewing will just be very easy, and it will make your work neat as well. So I'll take it to the sewing machine now and wrap it. You see, one, you wrap 1, then 2, like that. Then you take it and sew it all the way down. So as you are sewing it, always check, rearrange and sew. Just be patient. All right, it's not as easy as it seems, especially if you're doing this for the first time or the second time. Just take it easy, and the more consistent you have with sewing corsets, the more neat your work is going to be. So here's the final look. I'm just playing around there. You see how neat it is, how beautiful it is, and the tool, I love it. So if this tutorial has been helpful to you, kindly give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Don't run away, okay? Bye.